Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. Sunil here. Can you hear me? Please give your confirmations on the chat box. Thank you. Thank you for your wonderful responses. This count was never expected. This is a record break. DevOps like never before. The course content is also updated in this particular batch. I hope you will. I hope you are excited equally. Thank you very much for joining the session. Let's stop the chat so that we can focus on the training. Let us stop the chat. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. DevOps like never before, Okay, thank you very much for joining the session. So let's go ahead. What's our agenda for today? I hope you already know my introduction. Most of you already know my introduction. So let's have a quick introduction about myself. And then let's have some interaction with some of the participants. We'll have interaction with some of the participants, and then we'll get into the actual subject, what is DevOps? Okay, so that's our plan for today. A quick introduction about myself. This is Sunil Kopavarapu. I'm from Hyderabad. I'm having 10 years of experience. First 3.5 years of IT experience, I have it in Oracle and Oracle applications platform. And later I shifted my technology from Oracle applications to AWS and DevOps. I have total 7.5 years of experience in AWS and DevOps technology. So this is, I'm based out of Hyderabad, and this is my quick introduction. So let's have interactions of some of the participants. Whoever wants to have introduce themselves, please raise your hand. Please raise your, whoever wants to talk in this particular session. Obviously, we cannot talk with all the participants. You know that. We cannot talk with all the participants. Let's have quick introduction with some of the participants. Okay, starting with Rahul Deshmukh. How are you?
Hi, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Rahul. It's very clear. How are you doing?
Thanks a lot. Finally, I am the first member who is talking with
you. Thank
I
you.
raised my hand many times in the.
Here you have a lot of chances of interaction because Rahul, unlike AWS will be in thousands. Here it is. It's only
Thanks a
900 to
lot.
1,000. You have a lot of.
I have been waiting for to talk with you.
You,
Basically, my background is electronics, and I have been working in the embedded domain from last 5 years.
Embedded. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like in the IoT plus data processing department.
Okay.
So we collect the data from the field and transfer that data to the server.
IoT is latest.
Yeah. So now company is trying to shift into the cloud.
Cloud. Yes.
So I thought
that's how the technology is moving. Everything is going to cloud, isn't it?
That's
so are you learning AWS from me?
Yeah. I'm learning AWS continuously and doing the practice as well.
How is the AWS learning?
From you only.
Yeah. How is it?
Yeah, it's absolutely fine.
So
I don't know the what is AWS and all these things, but whatever the way you taught to us,
okay,
outstanding.
Thank you, Rahul. Similarly, you will also enjoy the DevOps. Okay, combination of AWS and DevOps is the best right now. It's one of the best in the current industry. Okay, Rahul.
Yes.
So already you have started acquiring AWS skills. You also please acquire DevOps skills. Then you will have a wonderful technology. Any specific technical questions on DevOps?
No.
Okay.
Whatever you are going to teach, that will be out of 120%. I know.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you for your trust, and hopefully you'll enjoy the training on DevOps. Also. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ashish Gupta, how are you?
Hi Sunil, very good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to the DevOps Day 1.
Thank you so much for giving me a chance to speak here.
Thank you.
By the way, how are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you, Ashish. Thank you very much. Yes.
I hope you recognize me or still.
Success story?
Right.
Yeah. Congratulations once again, Ashish.
Thanks,
for your offer on AWS skill set, right, Ashish?
Right. I got an opportunity as a cloud DBA.
Cloud DBA, very good. Good. I think you are planning to implement HANA on AWS, I think so, right?
Right.
Yes, congratulations. Okay.
Sunil, thank you so much. And I just say thanks again to you because of your training and your stuff. I got a job. Even
congratulations.
I will be at Cloud DBA in a 2 year.
Sure, you're welcome. Thank you. Okay.
So Sunil, I have one question. I'm continuously watching your AWS video. Even whenever I watch again, I got something new and I do practical.
Okay,
it's also helping me a lot.
Good.
So just one thing, apart from these content which we have covered in AWS, for database especially, which thing should I cover?
Which capacity?
Which other services of AWS should I cover?
Specific to which domain you're talking about?
I'm talking about database.
Okay, so specific to
in
database,
yeah.
there is a relational database service. Okay, which you need
RDS.
to focus. RDS, which you need to focus, and DynamoDB is one thing which you need to focus. Okay, okay, that's enough. Okay,
thank you so
thank
much.
you. Thank you very much. Okay, so Waris Abdul. Good evening, Waris. Welcome to the session.
Yeah, hi Sunil. Very good evening.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
your experience and your introduction, please.
Yes, I have around 11.5 years of experience, and I work for more legacy migrations.
Wow. Okay.
And
Which platform?
which platform like mainframes to other technologies.
Okay. Good. Okay.
And
You are also learning AWS from me.
yes. I'm learning AWS, and
Okay.
yeah, and I just want to move out of that legacy systems to this one.
Yes. You have taken a very good decision, Varis. DevOps, I hope you know it's one of the most trending technologies, isn't it?
Yes.
So, and this DevOps will help you to migrate to other latest technologies. Okay.
And Sunil, like, do I need to learn any sort of R language or Python language?
The only prerequisite for DevOps is Linux, the basics of Linux. Anyways, I will cover that. So there's no prerequisite. Okay. That's more than enough.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
I need your support for preparing the resume also.
Sure, Varis. We are always there. We are getting a lot of success stories. Okay. So our team is always there to help you out. Okay.
Thank you, Sunil.
Thank you, Varis. Okay. One more final call. To get into the before getting into the concepts. Jay Krishnan KK.
Hi, Sunil.
Good evening, Jay.
Hi. Yeah, I'm based out in Singapore. I guess probably I am one of the most experienced guy here because I have heard because I am close to 16 years experience in different domains.
Okay. What is your primary skill set? Primary in which domain?
We manage the SharePoint infrastructure for a bank.
Okay.
So I'm into that.
I remember SharePoint and Microsoft SharePoint and BizTalk was booming 10 years back, isn't it, Jay Krishnan?
Correct.
In 2010 and
absolutely. 8. That time I joined Microsoft and I was a support engineer there. And I moved it to Singapore. We support a bank.
Okay.
So right now we are moving to Office 365, the Microsoft cloud-based solution.
Yes.
But again, because it's a bank, we have a lot of on-premise data centers and a lot of difficulty in terms of privacy and other matters. So it's still some of the sensitive data they cannot move. But yeah, we are moving to cloud, which is cost effective.
Yeah, right.
My primary objective is that to learn we are now last few years we were into DevOps mode, and now we are going to the SRE model, site reliability engineering.
Very good. So your organization is already implementing DevOps.
Absolutely.
For your client.
Lot of
so you know about DevOps. It is completely new for you.
It's not completely new. Actually, I do the PowerShell scripting. We adopt the Git and versioning tools and the scanning and all that things we do. But it is not a structured way. I want to know.
So you want to know from the scratch.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
The complete cycle building, right from pulling the code from the GitHub to the moving to production.
That's right. Yes.
The cycle pipeline.
Yeah. So that's my.
How do you happen to know this training?
Actually, one of my colleague in India, he forwarded to me, and he's also in the session, I believe. And after that, I forwarded to hundreds of people. So I don't know how many joined. Anyway, I really appreciate your initiative to give this training and really like you taking care of the beginner.
Thank you.
The experienced guys who can get a breadth of knowledge of different products. So that's really commendable.
Thank you, Jay Krishnan. I'm sure you'll enjoy this DevOps training also. Okay, nice to talk.
I'm already enjoying it.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay. So we had a quick introduction about the participants. Now let's exactly get into the concepts of DevOps. Okay. So what is DevOps? So I'm sure many of you are completely zero in DevOps. You may be having an idea on AWS. If you're not having AWS also, that's not a problem. You can learn AWS. There are many participants learn DevOps first and get into AWS. So don't be under the impression that first we have to learn AWS and then get into DevOps. I have seen many participants learning DevOps first and getting into the AWS also. That's fine. So let's get into the concept of DevOps. First point, I want to make it very, very clear. We can learn DevOps technology on AWS platform. We can learn DevOps on Microsoft Azure. We can learn DevOps on Google Cloud platform, but my training is DevOps on AWS platform. So that's the reason that it's DevOps on AWS. Okay, let's get into the concept. So before explaining you what is DevOps, my dear friends, before explaining you what is DevOps, I want to spend some time explaining about software development lifecycle. Before getting into that actual tool, that is actual concept of DevOps, I want to have some discussion about software development lifecycle, SDLC. Okay, look at a scenario. When a client, assuming a banking client, example, I say is a bank, needs an internet banking application. Assume a client needs an internet banking application to their customers. Okay, so obviously clients approach software development companies like Infosys, Wipro, Tech Mahindra, a number of companies. When client need an application for their customers, let's say ICICI Bank needs an application, internet banking application, the bank's client approaches software development companies like Infosys, Wipro, whatever it is. The client approaches software development companies. So software development companies like Infosys accepts the client requirements, understands the client requirements, and deliver the project. Agree? That's what happens in the industry. Client needs an application, they need a solution, a technology solution. So client approaches software development companies. Software development companies takes the requirements, understands the requirements, and then deliver the product or a project to the client. Typically, this happens. When software development companies like Infosys, Wipro, or XYZ understands the requirements, once they take the requirements from the client, they have to deliver the product, they have to develop the product and deliver the product in a streamlined approach. They cannot develop the product in ad hoc basis. My dear friends, try to understand. The client cannot develop the product in ad hoc basis. The companies like Infosys takes the requirements and they have to deliver the project in streamlined approach, a professional approach. A streamlined professional approach of developing a product or a project to the client is called a software development lifecycle. They have to follow a process. Companies cannot develop the product in ad hoc basis. They have to follow a streamlined process. The process of taking the requirements, developing a product, and delivering the product to the client is a streamlined approach. It's called a software development lifecycle. They have to follow a process. In this software development lifecycle process, there are a lot of popular models available. There are a lot of popular models available. As you can see, the popular models are Waterfall Model. In my slide, there are only two models which are mentioned. That is Waterfall Model and Agile Model. There are many other models. We have Spiral Model, Iterative Model. There are a lot of models available. But out of all the models, I want to make myself limited to discussion with respect to two models. One is Waterfall Model. The other one is Agile Model. To start with, I want to discuss about Waterfall Model. One of the oldest models in software development lifecycle is Waterfall Model. A model is a streamlined software development lifecycle is a streamlined process of gathering the requirements and delivering the product to the client is streamlined process. And there are different models using which you can build a product and deliver it to clients. Out of all these models, the oldest model is Waterfall Model. It's also successful. And currently, Waterfall Model is not used. Currently, Waterfall Model, and I want to discuss about Waterfall Model. I also want to discuss about the drawbacks of the Waterfall Model and how exactly Agile Model is overcoming that particular drawbacks. To start with, I want to discuss about Waterfall Model. how requirements can be gathered and how the product is built and delivered to the client using Waterfall Model. I want to first start with Waterfall Model, and then let's get into Agile Model. How Waterfall Model works. Please have a look at it. This is how the streamlined process of gathering the requirements and delivering the product to the client is called as a Waterfall Model. In the Waterfall Model, in fact, not only Waterfall Model, in every model, the first phase, the first stage is gathering the requirements. The first stage is gathering the requirements. Not only in the Waterfall Model, every model starts with the requirement stage. The first stage is required. There'll be regular meetings between the client and the software development companies. The first stage, requirement stage. In this requirement stage, there'll be regular meetings between the client and the software development companies, and it's the responsibility of the software development company to properly take the requirements from the client. Only when the requirements are clearly understood and clearly defined, then only we can deliver the right product to the client. If requirements is not clear, obviously we end up delivering a wrong product to the client. So most important stage is requirement stage. In this requirement stage, it's very obvious there will be regular meetings between the client and the software development companies, and the software development company will be clearly taking the requirements from the client. That's the requirement stage. Once the requirements gathering is done, in the waterfall model, the next stage is the design stage, is analysis stage. As you can see in the slide, after requirement, the next stage is analysis. In the analysis stage, the technology components are decided. In this analysis stage, the technology components are decided. What do you mean by technology components? Should we build the product using Java? Should we develop the project using Python? Should we develop the project using .NET technology? What should we use as database? Should we use Oracle database? Should we use MongoDB? Or should we use Microsoft SQL Server database? Which database should be used? What should be the middleware component? What should be the application server? Is it JBoss? Is it WebLogic? Should we use WebSphere? The technology components will be decided in the analysis stage, basing on what technology the product should be delivered, should be built. That's called analysis. Once the requirements gathering is done, in the analysis, the technology components are freezed. What should be the front-end technology? What should be the middleware component? What should be the back-end technology? So this kind of technology components are decided in the analysis stage. Next, once the technology components are decided, the next is design stage. In the design stage, the complete project is broken up into modules. The complete entire project is divided into modules, is broken up into modules. Assuming our client is a banking client, the banking client application will be divided to break up into modules, something like a savings account, one module, current account, one module, NRI banking, one module, credit card, one module, wealth banking, one module, customer care, one module. So like this, the complete project is divided into modules. So that's how it happens in the design stage. The project is broken up into modules, and the data flow diagrams will be drawn. The user interface, the user experience designs will be done. So this happens in the design stage. First requirements, then technology components will be decided, and then the project is broken up into modules, and the data flow diagrams, user experience designs will be happening in the design stage. Once the design stage is completed, the next stage is coding stage. Here comes the role of a programmer. The next stage is coding stage. Here comes the role of a programmer. If it is a Java technology, it's a Java programmers. If it is .NET technology, .NET programmers. If it's Python, it's Python programmers. Programmers or developers take the documents from the design team, how exactly the user interface should be designed, how exactly the data flow happens. what activity should happen whenever a button is clicked. So according to that, the coding is built. Here comes the role of a developer. So developers, as per the design documents, the coding starts. Assuming the coding for all the modules has been completed. The project is divided into modules, right, in the design. So assuming the code and the developers are involved into that particular module, the coding part is completed. Once the coding part is completed, obviously look at the next stage. As expected, the next stage is testing. The testing team will jump into action. Whether it is manual testing or an automation testing, testing team will jump into action. The test whether the application is behaving perfectly. The application is deployed into the testing instances. We cannot deploy into production. It will be deployed to testing instances. The testing team will check by writing the testing scripts. They check whether the application is perfectly behaving as per the requirements gathered. That's the role of a testing team. Assuming testing has been passed, let's take positive. Assuming the testing has been passed, the application is perfectly behaving as per the client requirement. As testing is perfectly done, obviously we deliver it to the client. This is step-by-step streamlined process. My dear friends, this step-by-step streamlined process of developing a particular product and delivering it to the client, this model is called as a waterfall model. This model is called as waterfall model. Waterfall model is used 20 years back, not now. No one is using waterfall model in the current industry. It is used 20 years back, 25 years back. The only model in case, in fact, available 20 years back was waterfall model. There's no other option. So this is how the applications are built and delivered to client. This waterfall model is suffering with some disadvantage. That is the reason currently it's not getting used. The waterfall model is suffering some with disadvantages. I hope many of you already know the disadvantages of waterfall model. I hope many of you knows the disadvantage of waterfall model. Anybody wants to have a talk with respect to the waterfall model and the drawbacks of the waterfall model, please raise your hand. Rakesh Kannaboina. How are you, Rakesh? Clear about the waterfall model which I have explained?
Yes, Sunil.
Yes. So what do you think? What's the problem with the waterfall model?
It's a time-consuming process.
Very good. It's time-consuming.
So, yeah, why? Because if the project is at a coding stage, so until testing team will be
waiting.
For the
Yes. So one team will wait for the previous team to complete its task. Agree or not? Isn't it, Rakesh?
Yes, Sunil.
So because of this waiting time, there will be delay in the delivery. Okay, and it's very, very difficult to meet the deadlines of the client. Right? Okay. So yes. So thank you, Rakesh. Thank you for your inputs. I want to discuss more about this kind of disadvantages. As Rakesh said, the most important problem with the waterfall model is one team will wait for its previous team to complete the task. Example, assuming 100 developers are recruited for this particular client. Assuming 100 developers are recruited for this time, when the coding page, as per the waterfall model, one stage should start only after completing its previous stage. Coding should be started only after completing the design stage. Testing should happen only after completing the coding part. Assuming the coding team, there are 100 resources involved in the coding and the project manager has given an estimate that they need 6 months of time. The project manager has given an estimate that they need 100 resources and the time required to complete the coding part is 6 months. So for this duration of 6 months, the testing team, assuming their group of 20 testers are available in the allocated for this particular client, this 20 resources belonging to the testing team will wait for 6 months to complete the coding part. One group of resources will wait for the previous group of resources, previous stage resources to complete its task. Testing team will wait for the coding team to complete its coding part. Coding team will wait for the design team. Design team will wait for the analysis and the requirements team to be completed. So because of this waiting time, there is a delay in the development process. As there is a delay, it's really, really difficult to meet the deadlines. So waterfall, one stage should happen only after completing its previous stage, as waterfall falls from top to bottom. That's the main disadvantage. There's a waiting time. There's a lot of dependency between one team to other team to complete it. That's the first disadvantage. So it's time consuming process. The second disadvantage, when time consumes, obviously the project cost increases. Okay, isn't it? So for the client, so that's first disadvantage. The second disadvantage is in the waterfall model does not encourage clients to give the new requirements. Most important disadvantage. The first disadvantage, obviously, it's a time consuming process. There's a delay. It's very, very difficult to meet the deadlines. That's the first disadvantage. The second disadvantage in the waterfall model is that in the waterfall model does not encourage clients to give the new requirements. Assuming the requirements gathering is done on January 1st. Assuming 2021, last year. Assuming requirements are finalized in 2021, January 1st. Let's say once the analysis part is done, design team is done, the coding part is going on. Let's say client wants to implement some other features. A new feature client wants to implement. Waterfall model does not encourage clients to give the new requirements. The design will be based on the existing requirements which are phased, and everything happens based on the freeze requirements, which is not at all supported in the current industry, the current era. The main two disadvantages of the waterfall model is a time consuming process because there's a waiting time. One team will wait for the previous team to complete the work, and the waterfall model does not encourage the clients to give new requirements. And now currently the client is the boss. Client is the king. These are the two important disadvantages because of which currently waterfall model is not sustainable. It's not in this current industry, in the current trends. Am I clear, my dear friends? Am I clear in explaining you on a high level what is waterfall model and the disadvantages of that particular waterfall model? If yes, type yes in the chat box. Am I clear in explaining you on a high level what is waterfall model and the disadvantages of the waterfall model? Let's move on to most best model in the current industry. Let's stop the chat. Thank you for your responses. Let's move on to the most best model in the current industry. That's called as an agile model. Disadvantages of waterfall model. It's difficult to estimate the time and cost on each phase of the development process. Once an application is in the testing stage, it is very difficult to go back and make changes. There's no concept of going back. Once the coding phase is done, there's no concept of going back and changing the design. There's no concept of going back and changing the requirements. That's why it's called waterfall model. Water always falls from top to bottom. There's no concept of going back. It's very difficult to go back and change something which is not at all allowed in this particular waterfall model. Not good for complex and object-oriented projects. Most disadvantage is that not suitable for projects or clients whose requirements are of high risk of changing. When requirements are of highly risk of changing, this waterfall model does not support. As you know, now the current applications are frequently changing. If you log in Facebook after 1 month, you'll find some changes. 1 month back and now you'll find some changes. Agree or not? So applications right now in the current trend, we cannot freeze the requirements. It's client can give the new requirements. Our model should be more robust, that it should take the new requirements and deliver it to the client. So these are the problem with the waterfall model. So let's move on to understand how exactly agile model works. Let's move on to understand how agile model works. Look at the theory. First, let's get into the theory and then let's understand in our own way how exactly agile model will be worked. Look at the terminology. Agile model is also called as incremental model. Look at the terminology, incremental model. Software is developed in incremental and rapid cycles. Incremental model, rapid cycles. This results in small incremental releases. With each release, building on its previous functionality. Each release is thoroughly tested and the quality is maintained. Incremental model, you have to understand this terminology. Rapid cycles, let's move on. Agile model emphasizes on iterative, look at the term, incremental, evolutionary development. What do you mean by iterative? What do you mean by incremental? Try to understand the dictionary meanings. Evolutionary. Software is built in rapid cycles, incremental releases. What does that mean? Let's try to understand in a simplified approach. That's exactly how exactly the product is built using Agile Model. As we have taken a banking client example as an ICICI Blank, this is the requirement on a high level. This is the requirement. They want to give internet banking application to the customers, and these are the modules: personal banking, as you can see, personal banking, privilege banking, wealth banking, private banking, NRI banking. These are all modules: small and medium scale enterprises, corporate banking. So these are all modules. In case of waterfall model, in case of waterfall model, the first stage, the requirement stage. I'm talking about the waterfall model, the oldest model. In the waterfall model, what happens in the requirement stage, there will be regular meetings between the client and the personal banking team, and then they freeze the requirements of personal banking, they freeze the requirements of privilege banking, they freeze the requirements of wealth banking, they freeze the requirements of private banking. So they communicate to each and every department, and they freeze the requirements of all the modules, and then they declare it as the requirements phase is freezed and completed. That's what happens in the waterfall model. They take the requirements of each and every department, and then they declare once saying that the requirements phase is completed. And the design team is always technology. It's not based on module. It's the technology components design. Next, what is the next step after requirements of after design? After analysis, the design. So the design team jump into action. They design the personal banking user interfaces. They design the privilege banking. They design the wealth banking. Okay, they design each and every module, and then they declare it as the design part is completed. Clear? And then programmers comes into picture. They develop the code for personal banking. They develop the code for wealth privilege banking. They develop the codes for wealth banking. They develop the code for private banking. Each and every module they develop it, and they declare it as the programming is done. The program coding phase is completed. Now, obviously, a testing team will jump into action. They test the module 1, they test module 2, they test module 3, they test module 4, they test module 5. That's how it happens. So that's how the testing happens, and then they deliver all the modules at once. This is the way how exactly the product is built using waterfall model, whereas agile model is completely different. Try to understand how the model agile is completely different with respect to other models. Agile model, coming back to the theory, incremental, evolutionary. Software is built on rapid cycles. What does that mean? Let's try to understand. In the agile model, unlike waterfall model, always the first stage is requirements. In the agile model, the requirements team will take the requirements of only one module. In the agile development process, they take the requirements of one module. Okay. Assuming the first module requirements is done. Next, what happens? The requirements team will take the requirements of second module. Meanwhile, the design team will start designing the first module. Parallel execution. The two teams now you're pushing both the teams. Requirements team taking the requirements of first module. The design team is busy designing the first module. Requirements team taking the requirements of second module. Design team started designing the first module. Parallel execution. Look at the next iteration. Assuming the requirements gathering of the first second module is done. Now requirements team will move on to third module. Design team, assuming that the design team has been completing designing the first module, design team will be busy designing the second module. The coding team will start ready, and they'll be busy with the coding for the first module. Parallel execution. Try to understand, all the three teams are running in parallel, unlike waterfall model. Look at the next iteration. Requirements team busy taking the requirements of fourth module. Design team busy designing the third module. Coding team will be busy coding the second module, and this coding is already completed. Testing team will be busy testing the first module. Clear how exactly you're pushing all the teams together. You are removing the dependencies. There's no waiting time here. Everybody is busy with their own activity. Look at the next iteration. The requirements team busy with taking the requirements of module 5. Design team busy designing module 4. Coding team busy coding the module 3. Testing team busy testing the module 2, assuming the first testing of module 1 is successfully completed, we deliver the first module to the client. There's no hard and fast rule that all the modules will be delivered at once. Unlike waterfall model, there's no hard and fast rule. At least client is happy, one module is delivered. They can do user acceptance testing and they can experience how exactly the application is behaving. Are you understanding how exactly incremental, my dear friends, are you understanding how exactly agile model is different from the waterfall model? If yes, type yes in the chat box. It's completely different. At least client is happy, one module is delivered. Got it? Yes, there's no hard and fast. That's the reason. That's the reason. Client is happy, one module is delivered rather than waiting for all the modules to be delivered at once. Look at the next iteration. The requirements will be busy with the next this particular 6th module. The design team will be busy taking the fifth module. Coding team will be busy coding the 4th module. Testing team will be busy testing the 3rd module, and we will be delivering the 2nd module to the client. At least client can experience the module how exactly. And in case if they want some changes, agile model welcomes the client requirements as their client experiences the modules module by module incremental way. They can experience the module and they can give the new inputs. Again, the new inputs will be followed in the same cycle. So in this evolutionary model of building the particular product and delivering it in rapid cycles is more proven, successful, and it's very the most successful model, my dear friends. The most successful model is agile model. And there are a lot of modules, there are a lot of models using which the software built is software product can be delivered. The most successful model till date is agile model, and clients are happy. The software development company is happy because the clients are happy. You can deliver the deadlines, you can meet the deadlines, and then clients can experience the evolutionary way of delivering the products. Clients can use it and they can welcome and this model welcomes the clients to give changes, and then we can embed the changes. The requirements will take the requirements of the new changes. Again, the changes will be embedded in this particular cycle, and then we can deliver it to a client. So if the waterfall model, assuming it takes 2 years to deliver the product to the client, which model I'm talking about? Assuming the waterfall model will take 2 years of time to deliver the product to the client, the same product you can deliver in less than 1 year in the agile model. If waterfall model is taking 2 years of time, you can break down 50%, you can increase the speed, and then you can deliver the same product with same quality in the agile model in just 1 year. Clear? So that's how agile model is very revolutionary, and very most successful model in the current industry is the agile model. Next, now why are we learning about agile model? Our plan is to learn DevOps, right? My dear friends, our plan is to learn DevOps. Why are we understanding about agile model? Now here comes the concept. Delay. In the current industry, in the current era, even clients are not happy with 1 year time. When compared to waterfall model, agile is speed enough. When compared to waterfall model, agile model is speed, no doubt. Now the industry in such a position, the clients are in such a mindset, they are not even ready to wait for 1 year long. Clients are giving the requirements. Now they want the product to be delivered in just 3 to 4 months. In such a speed rate, clients are expecting their product to be delivered. If you say to a client saying that we need 1 year time and we are using agile model, no, clients are not happy. That's how the current industry is. Clients are not ready to wait for 1 year long. Clients will give the requirements now. They want the product to be delivered in 2 or 3 months maximum. Such a speed rate, your clients are expecting the product to be delivered. So in the current industry, even agile model is slow. When compared to waterfall model 20, okay, agile model is faster. But now clients are thinking the agile model is also slow because they can't wait for 1 year time. So even 1 year is also a slow approach. The clients are expecting the product to be delivered in just 3 to 4 months. In such a faster rate, in such a speed rate, clients are expecting the product to be delivered. So out of Fortune 500 companies, 50 top IT companies have done a research work for 5 years. Top 50 IT companies have done research work for 5 years just to understand the reason for delay. The research work is done for 5 years just to understand the reason for delay in the software development process, no matter you're using Agile model or XYZ model, whatever it is. There was research work done for a period of 5 years by 50 software development companies all over the world just to understand the reason why there is a delay in the software development, irrespective of the model what they are using. Once doing the research work, they came with one specific statement. Now they have analyzed and they have identified the reason why the product is developed is taking time consuming process, no matter whatever it is, whatever model it is, it's time consuming process is the reason. And they have identified the reason. The reason is, in spite of model, whatever the clients are using, but still clients have software companies using, but still there's a delay. And the delay is because of one statement. My dear friends, try to understand. Even though you're using Agile model or some other model, the reason for the delay in the software development process is the gap between, there's a gap between development team and operations team. This is causing the delay in the software development lifecycle. The main reason for the delay in delivering the product to the client is the gap between this is the statement after doing 5 years of research work, the gap between development team and operations team. Obviously, the next question comes to your mind is, what do you mean by operations team? The most important point you have to understand about operations team. If you want to understand the statement gap between development team and operations team, you have to understand development team and you have to understand operations team. Development team is easy to visualize. Development team is easy to visualize. Development team is nothing but group of developers. If it is Python team, group of Python developers, Java team, group of Java developers, that's a development team. They develop the code as per the requirements. It's very easy to visualize what is development team. Development team is nothing but group of developers. That's it. It's very important to understand what they mean by operations team. If you want to understand the statement between gap between development team and operations team, you have to understand in clear what do you mean by operations team. Let's try to understand what do you mean by operations team. Let's try to understand what do you mean by operations team. Okay, look at this example. Assume a small software development company. Assuming a small company of 100 employees, isn't it? There can be software companies, small companies of 50 employees, 100 employees. Visualize a small software company which is having some 3 to 4 clients and there are 100 employees. This is the company count. In a software company, if there are 100 employees, do you think every employee, right from the first employee to last employee, do you think every employee is a developer? My dear friends, assuming visualize a small software company of 100 employees, do you think right from first employee to last employee? Assuming a software a company of 100 billable employees, right from first employee who is billable to last employee, do you think every employee is a developer? That's not the case. The software giants of India like TCS, Wipro, Infosys, they boast that we are having 50,000 employees. We are planning to recruit 20,000 employees this year. Do you think every employee is a developer working in a top company? TCS will give a count that these are the number of employees in our organization. Do you think every employee working in TCS, every employee working in Infosys, do you think everyone is a programmer, everyone is a developer? No, it's not the case. So that's the reason, visualize a company of 100 employees. Do you think every employee is a developer? No, not the case. Okay, there could be employees, 50% could be developers. There are a group of other people who are not developers. Assuming, okay, in a company of 100 employees, 50 employees can be developers. There are a group of other people who are not developers, but still they are billable. Yeah, they are billable by the client. Please don't think that only billable resources are developers. There are a group of people who are not developers, but they are very critical. You cannot neglect this. They are billable, they are very critical. You cannot ignore this set of people who are not developers. Please don't be under impression that only developers are important in the IT organization. That's not the case. Don't be under impression that only developers are great. No, it's not the case. In a visualization of 100 employees, probably 50 employees can be developers. There are a group of people who are critical. They are directly billable to the client, and these people who are not belonging to development team, but still they are critical, they are very important. These group of people who are not developers comes under operations team as per DevOps. The team of resources who are very critical, they are not developers, my difference. There are a group of people who are not developers, they're very important. Without this team, developers cannot make a milestone, not even single progress, not even a single day they cannot progress without this team of people who are not developers. These team of people who are not developers, but still they're critical, they're very important to the client. These people who are not developers are called as operations team as per DevOps methodology. No, okay, developers. Okay, Sunil, yes, I said I can understand developers are nothing but group of Java developers, Python developers. They develop the code. Okay, fine. Now, what will be the responsibility of other group of people who are not belonging to development team? As you said, you are critical. What will be their day-to-day responsibilities? Yes, they are very important. Now I'm listing out the responsibilities of those people who are not belonging to the development team, but they're very critical. They belongs to operations team. Installing server hardware, installing operating system, it is whose responsibility? Do you think Java developer will do it? Do you think the Java developer will do it? No, infrastructure team. Configuring the servers as per the client requirement, making sure they're very secured. Network is very, very important, challenging task. It's not easy. Managing storage, SAN, NAS, as per the client requirements. Monitoring the server, suddenly the server is down. It is whose responsibility? The developers will respond. Developers will happily send a mail to the client saying that servers are not responding. They're a group of people who are regularly monitoring, making sure that the servers are perfectly responding as per performance. This group of people are all operations team, responding to the outages, maintaining IT security, maintaining disaster recovery, production support, version controlling, backup and disaster recovery. There are many more these kind of activities. These type of people who are very, very critical, but they do not belong to our development team or called as operations team. These are the day-to-day responsibilities of, these are very, very critical. They are billable. So these resources who are not developers, but they are very critical or called as operations. These are some of the responsibilities of the operation. I'm sure many of you are belonging to the operations team. All Linux administrators, database administrators, system administrators, network administrators, SAN storage, production support, version controlling, disaster recovery. Who will do that? You need a manpower, skilled resources. Without this operations team, development team is no use. Do you agree with that? These resources are called as operations team, and delay is happening in the software development lifecycle because there is a miscommunication happening between development team and operations team. Now, the reason why I'm discussing about operations team is because of the DevOps. After doing 5 years of research work, there's one single statement saying that there's a gap between development team and operations team. Am I right? Now you know what is development team and operations team. And DevOps is a tool, is a methodology which collaborates these two teams. The term DevOps, look at this, DEVOPS. The term DevOps is derived from these two teams. Dev stands for development, Ops stands for operations. As you can clearly depict in this particular slide, this particular slide, the term DevOps is derived from these two teams. The responsibility of the DevOps engineer is to purely collaborate these two teams without any miscommunication so that you can speed up the delivery and deliver the requirements to the clients in much more faster approach. You may have questions. So give me a scenario. You said that there is a gap between development team and operations team. Yeah, as mentioned, after doing 5 years of research work, you said there is a gap between development team and operations team. Can you give me an example? What do you mean by gap? A practical example. Look at my example. A development team, assuming Java team, they're building an application. They're using SQL Server database. Yes, Java can use SQL Server as their backend. Now, the project manager wants to experience how exactly the application is behaving. They want when the backend component is changed from SQL Server to Oracle. The client wants to change the backend component. Instead of using SQL Server, they want to use Oracle as the backend component, and they want to experience the behavior of application when combination of front end as Java as backend of Oracle. The current combination is Java and SQL Server. When this is the requirement from the client, obviously the Java team will send a mail to operations team. Is nothing but the database administrators. The development team, the project manager sends a mail to the DBA team or operations team. DBA is part of operations team, saying that, my dear DBA, please provide me Oracle 12c 12.1.0 version so that we can start our developmental activities. So it's the responsibility of the operations team to provide the backend component. Do you agree or not? Then the reason for the delay. You may get a response from the operations team saying that, my dear Java team, the skilled DBA, the database administrator, is on leave for a period of 5 days. Skilled resources are not available. So you have to wait for 5 days so that the database team, database administrator will jump into action and can provide you the required instance, because the skilled resources are not available immediately. This could be one reason. Reason two, my dear development team, don't provide the requirements, don't provide your instance requirements on ad hoc basis. Provide me at least a notice period of 10 days. There's scarcity of infrastructure in our organization. So my dear development team, so please wait for 10 days so that we can take your requirements and provide you the required instances. Either the skilled resources are not available. Look at a scenario, my dear friends. Either the skilled resources are not available, or the infrastructure is not available so that they can cater the development team requirements. As the operations team is not able to cater the requirements, there will be delay in the development team. They'll happy waiting for 5 days for the instance to get released. So these are few scenarios. There are a lot of scenarios in which there is a lot of gap between development team and operations team. Finally, you cannot meet the deadlines which you are committed to the client. So as a DevOps engineer, when a software development company implements DevOps methodology, DevOps is not technology, DevOps is a methodology. DevOps is a methodology. When in software development companies implement DevOps methodology, there will be three teams: development team. The traditional two teams are development team and operations team. The traditional two teams are development team and operations team. You already know it. And the third team will be DevOps team. If you're already in the industry, you may have definitely experienced the DevOps team. When a software companies implement DevOps methodology, there will be three teams involved in the project: development team, operations team, and DevOps team. That's we. The responsibility of the DevOps team is to promote collaboration between the development team and operations team, pushing both of them to meet the deadlines. That's the responsibility of the DevOps engineer. Let's move on to the slide. DevOps and its importance. Look at this. DevOps is a methodology. It's a methodology that promotes collaboration between which two teams? Obviously, development team and operations team. This helps the deployment of code into production much more faster and automated way. Have you observed the trends? Nowadays, if you read the magazine, automation is trending now. Many clients are implementing automation. So it's all about implementing automation in deployment. So it helps in enabling rapid development products. That's what DevOps helps the client, helps the software development companies. And many companies year by year are implementing DevOps methodology in software. DevOps is a methodology that is implemented in the software development lifecycle. If you look at the Devops trends, look at the Google Devops trends in the year 2022. DevOps is mainly momentum in the year 2022. Many companies are enabling DevOps team continuously monitor and security defects. Please look at the DevOps trending about in Google, so you will understand how it works. DevOps, the trend that dominates in the year 2022. Automation is integral. DevOps and automation have been impaired to today's fast-paced development environment. Clear? So that's about NASCOM study. Shifting towards serverless Kubernetes, which we are covering. So please look at this DevOps trends lead about how exactly DevOps is trending. There are many companies implementing DevOps trending. Okay. The many companies, the year by year, many companies are implementing DevOps methodologies. Okay. So spend some time learning about DevOps and how exactly DevOps is trending now. So there's a lot of recruitment happening at DevOps. So DevOps is a methodology which improves collaboration between the development team and the operations team, which helps in delivering the product at much more faster rate and automated way. And this methodology can be implemented by using tools. I'm sure many of you are waiting for the course contents which are covered as part of a training course. The prerequisite for DevOps, the only prerequisite for DevOps is Linux. Okay, so with the first 3 to 4 sessions we are spending on Linux to an extent. We don't need to be learning Linux administration, the basics of Linux to an extent required for DevOps. We start with Linux, Git, source code management tool, Maven, build tool. Jenkins, the heart of DevOps, that CI/CD tool. This is the main tool which is behind automation. So we'll be learning Jenkins. We'll be discussing about Docker, that is called as containerization tool, Docker Swarm, container orchestration tool. Kubernetes, one more example of container orchestration tool, which is very, very trending in the current DevOps skill set. Ansible, configuration management tool, which helps the operations team to configure the instances at much more faster rate, which is very, very critical. And then Nagios is a monitoring tool, as well as Terraform. The course content is updated. So we'll be including Terraform. Terraform skill set is also expected. So this is what the course contents which are covered as part of a training course. And as mentioned, like today's session starts at 5:30. Like session today, it starts at 5:30 and the duration is 1 hour, approximately 1 hour to 1 hour 10 minutes, and it will be 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. As you know, as I hope you know, the course fees is 3,499, 3,499, and it's every session is recorded. Every session is recorded, and then you get the recordings once the session gets completed by 6:30, by 7:30 or 8 o'clock. The recordings will be available to you. Okay, so it's time for questions. I think many are waiting for questions to be answered. Obviously, we cannot talk with all the participants, but some of the participants definitely, yes. Yes. Pawan Tiwari, how are you?
Yeah, hi, Sunil.
How are you, Pawan? How is today's session?
Yeah, today's session is great. How are you, Sunil?
Your question, please.
Yeah, Sunil, I just wanted one question. In this dev course, how are we good in YAML scripting?
In Ansible, we use YAML scripting. Okay, so
Yeah,
I'll also explain, especially in YAML and in Docker. When you're explaining, when you're creating about multi-container architecture, you have to write the code in YAML. So that YAML is very simple. I'll explain YAML as part of this training course. That's not a problem.
Okay, yeah, and actually, yeah, I know the basic of the DevOps. I am also already working on Jenkins and
oh, wow, you're already aware of DevOps.
Okay. Yeah, I am. But I'm facing a lot of challenges in writing a YAML code.
Okay. It's very simple. I have some material also. I'll share it to you. Okay. Anything more, Tiwari?
No. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Abhinay Shankar.
Hi, Sunil. Good evening.
Good evening, Abhinay. Yes.
Thank you for letting me speak. I've been waiting to talk to you even in AWS class.
Okay.
So,
okay.
And then finally it happened in the DevOps.
Okay. Compared to AWS, there are very less number of people in DevOps compared to AWS because that's free. This is paid. You'll have less number of people. You'll have more interaction also. Yes, your question.
So I've graduated this year, the 2021 itself. And then I've joined Infosys.
Oh, you already placed.
Yeah. I joined Infosys and they did put me in the support team. And then when you were explaining me about the
production support.
Yeah, your production support. Actually, I'm more into monitoring stuff on AWS CloudWatch.
Okay.
So I'm able to relate things.
Okay, good. Now.
So one doubt is when
So
people
monitoring is just there's no challenging job, isn't it, Abhinay? It's all about repetitive work. Agree, Abhinay?
exactly,
So
that's
it's up
correct.
to you to leverage your skills and get into more better platform. Okay, Abhinay.
Yes,
And as you are already in the AWS, okay, monitoring and DevOps, if you learn DevOps, you can get into the cloud role, okay, rather than just monitoring. Okay.
yeah.
So that's
So
important.
one question was during AWS classes, you were like, we have to show 3 years of experience in AWS. But how would I do that? I just started, right? Like, should I
You
work
don't have
here
when you
itself?
don't have a gap, you cannot show experience. So whatever you have learned, mention that in skill set and mention that you have work experience on that period of time. You start receiving the calls. Okay. No
Okay.
problem.
Yeah.
Okay, Abhinay.
Yes, thank you. And
The
then one
first thing,
last.
the first most thing is acquiring the skills. Okay. Once you acquire the skills, once you have right skills, okay, you can definitely get break.
Yes, sir. One last small question, like
Yes.
where do we, pay this fee over here? Like, will you
We
be
are,
providing us the bank
are you
details
in the
later?
WhatsApp group
Yeah, I'm in the
of
83
AWS?
group.
And one more, not 83, this is 84.
Oh, sorry,
Abhinay.
sorry, 84, my bad.
You are already in the 84 group, right?
Yeah, I'm in
And
the
one more
84 group.
clarification, not only for you, for all the other participants, please be in the right group. Okay, so the right group is nothing but the group which is having this particular mobile number as an admin. Okay, sorry. So you have to be in the right group. I'll show you. Okay, so the group names should start with, and my number should be as an admin. So otherwise you may fall it in a wrong group. And I got to know some notice that some people are asking money from invalid groups. If you're in the invalid groups, please exit from the invalid groups. The right group is nothing but the group which is having admin number. I'll show you right. Okay, 1 minute. I'll just share it. This should be the administrator. Okay. You should be in a group, and that in that group, this number should be administrator. Okay. And the group naming convention, Devops batch 84 hyphen, it can be 1 or 2 or 3, whatever it is. Okay, it can be up to 25. There are 25 groups for this, but this would be the naming convention, Devops batch 84 hyphen 25. If and in this every group, this should be the admin. So you have to make sure that this is the admin. If you find this is an admin, that is my number, so that you are in the right group. If you are in a group which is starting from, let's say, Devops 18 Jan or at some other group naming convention, that means you are not in the right group. I'm also posting you if you are not part of WhatsApp groups. Many are not part of WhatsApp group. Okay, so if you want to join in our WhatsApp group, okay, the right WhatsApp group I'm talking about. I'm sure few of you already joined using the Zoom link, but you're not part of WhatsApp group belonging to this particular batch. DevOps batch. Please. Sorry for your time. Please wait. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. If you are not belonging to WhatsApp group, please join the WhatsApp group, which in the using the link which I'm posting right now in the chat box. WhatsApp DevOps batch 84. This is 84-6. If that particular group is full, then join. Do not join duplicates group. If the above group is full, then join the 7th group, 84-7. If 84-7 is full, then 84-8. Any of these groups, please join so that you get the payment links and you can proceed with the payment. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Abhinay. Thank you for your time. And let's have interaction with some of the participants. Vinesh Shah. Welcome, Vinesh. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Just one question.
Yes.
Hello. I'm a Windows admin. I do not have any knowledge about Linux or AWS.
Okay.
And I'm not from coding background. So what should I expect?
Okay. The path what you need to follow, you have no idea on AWS. Am I right, Vinesh? Okay.
I did attend your classes, but it was few months ago.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, so that's not a problem. I think you have not completed the entire AWS course, but you know the concept of EC2. Am I right, Vinesh?
Yes.
That's more than enough. The only prerequisite is Linux. Okay. That's for DevOps. Anyways, the first 3 sessions, I'll make yourself comfortable with the Linux part, and then we'll get into the actual DevOps to finish. Okay, so that will not be a problem. Okay, and after this DevOps, I strongly recommend you to complete the AWS, all the skill sets which I'm providing. Okay, so that's also important. So because the combination of AWS skills and DevOps skills are asked in the interview. Vinesh?
Yeah, Sunil, one more question. How much time will it take for us to be job ready? How many months, according to you, for someone like me?
This DevOps is duration of 45 days, Vinesh. Okay, today is day 1. Okay,
Yeah.
it is 45 days. Okay, and then you have to acquire, as you said, you have not completed AWS. You have to acquire AWS skill sets also. That will take approximately 15 days, and you have to practice in projects approximately for 10 days. So from now, you have to spend approximately 2 years of learning curve, Vinesh. Okay. Once you spend 2 years of investment, 2 months, sorry, not 2 months, 2 months, not 2 years, 2 months, 1.5 month DevOps, 15 days approximately for AWS and projects. After 2 months of learning curve, then you will be ready to get into the DevOps industry. Okay.
So Sunil, someone who is like zero in DevOps, if I'm investing like 2 hours
this is
per
from the
day,
scratch. This is from the
Yeah.
scratch. Okay. So you can be zero in DevOps, but still this will help you to have a good knowledge on DevOps by the
So do
end
you
of
think
45 days.
if I invest 2 hours per day, I will be ready in 3 months for interview?
You're right. Not only DevOps, you should also learn AWS. Okay, eventually.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Scene Kaungaba. Can you hear me, sir?
Hi. Yes, I can hear you.
Welcome to the session. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing good. Thank you.
You're from which location?
I'm from the US location.
Okay. How is the session and your questions, please?
Yeah, well, my question was regarding, one of the other guy asked at the beginning, it was regarding that timing in DevOps, how we get to the delay, how it affect the delay in production or delivery. All those cases, like when you talk about the waterfall, what was the setbacks about
I hope
it?
you have understood the setbacks of waterfall and you have understood how exactly the problem with Agile Model, not the problem, now the clients are expecting much more faster delivery. So that's the reason now companies are implementing the DevOps tools in the software development lifecycle to speed up the client requirements. Okay, see?
Yes, that's why. Yeah, that was time consuming and
yes,
more expensive.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tauro. Good evening. Good morning, I think so for you, Tauro. You are now allowed to unmute. Wilfred Tauro.
Yeah, hi, Sunil. How are you doing?
Doing well. How are you and you're from which location?
I'm from Bangalore. I'm from South Karnataka, coastal Karnataka, Bangalore.
Okay.
So don't go by my name.
I thought you're from US.
No, I'm a Canadian guy.
Okay. How is
All
the
right.
today's session?
Yeah, this is fantastic, and it's for a layman language. This is one of the best session I have ever gone into. Sunil.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And my question is basically, see, I have more than 20 years of experience around, and I'm a security risk and compliance manager for Kindred.
Okay.
And my query is how, see, you just showed me the trends for DevOps, and it was referring to DevSecOps.
Yes.
So my intention is to learn.
Your final intention is to DevSecOps. I understand. For the DevSecOps, the prerequisite is DevOps.
Yes.
Okay. So DevSecOps is much more trending. That's much more latest than DevOps. Okay.
That is correct.
It's yet to be it's yet to be matured. DevSecOps. Okay. It's so the most important foundation for DevSecOps. Your ultimate target is DevSecOps. I understand. For that, you should be strong in DevOps. Okay.
DevOps. Yeah.
So this is DevOps. Okay. So this is step 1 for you.
Yeah. So that is one query of mine. And what are the additional technologies or methodologies I need to develop and be strong upon to reach that goal? May I know, please?
You're talking about DevSecOps or DevOps?
DevSecOps, yes.
The only thing, there's nothing, it's not plural. The only thing is implementing security in DevOps. Okay.
Okay.
So that's DevSecOps. Even I cannot comment it because I'm not much well versed with DevSecOps also. As per my knowledge, it's all about implementing security in DevOps. The future will be Toro. The future will be no ops. Okay. The trends are going on with respect to no ops. That means the client DevOps is job cutter. Okay, for operations team. So the future is no ops. The plan is to eliminate the operations team. Okay, so using this automation and DevOps tools and DevSecOps. Okay, so I cannot comment on DevSecOps because I'm not specialist in. But the only thing I'm sure is that for DevSecOps, the prerequisite is DevOps.
Okay.
So you are in the right track.
Okay. And one second question, Sunil, if you allow me. Suppose DevOps, right now we are working on DevOps on the AWS, right?
You are
Suppose
right.
if I want to move to DevOps on Azure, so what would be the challenges?
Okay, very simple. The tools remains the same. Okay, whether you implement it on AWS or Azure or GCP, the behavior of the tools, the commands, the experience will be the same. So underlying platform changes. Okay, so if you learn DevOps on AWS, only thing what you need to do, if you want to implement DevOps on Azure, you can do that. The commands, whatever we are learning is the same. The only thing you should acquire Azure skills. Okay, the underlying cloud platform skills, if you can acquire, then you can implement these DevOps examples and methodologies on any of the cloud platform. Okay.
Okay.
This is specific to AWS. You can that will be a cakewalk. Only thing what you need to underline the client AWS cloud platform corresponding. That's all.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. Okay. You answered my question. So
thank you very much, Taro. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the training.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, bye.
Ben Besong.
Yes, is DevOps another model on its own, or is under the Agile method?
It's not under Agile method. It's on its own. Okay, it's autonomous.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Now
so
the second.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Please proceed.
The second question is, how do I get the recording? Like you said.
Okay. Are you in the WhatsApp group?
Yes.
We'll share you the payment link after the session gets completed now. Okay, so you can proceed with the payment as you are from, may I know your location?
US.
You get the
US
PayPal.
location?
If it is US, you get the PayPal link. You can proceed with the payment. Okay.
Okay,
and our
good.
team will share you the day-to-day recordings. Okay, and the PowerPoint slides also.
All right. And my last question is: each time you paste something on the chat, and I want to copy, like the Devops batch 84-7, it doesn't give me access to copy. I just say I can select, but it doesn't allow me to copy.
You don't need to copy. When you click on this, so you will be automatically joined into the group. Are you attending from your mobile phone?
No, from the computer.
It's not allowing you to copy?
Yes, from the chat. It doesn't allow me to copy the chat. Like the link you just pasted last.
Okay. You're not part of WhatsApp group.
Oh yeah, but I actually joined. Okay, I don't know. Maybe I have to go rejoin again.
Okay, please rejoin. I think you are already in the WhatsApp group. Okay, if you're not part of the WhatsApp group, please shoot an email to support@Logic Labs, our operations team. Okay, support@logiclabstech.com. Okay, send an email requesting for the WhatsApp group joining link. Our team will respond to you so that you will be in the right WhatsApp group. Okay, did I answer your question, Ben?
Yes, I've been receiving some messages from WhatsApp. I thought it was the right group. Probably is the wrong group that I joined.
Yes, I think you are in the wrong group. So please exit from the group and then please send an email to support@logiclabstech.com. Okay, so that we'll provide you the right WhatsApp group for correct communication. Okay.
Thank you.
Charandeep.
Hi, Sunil.
Welcome,
so my
Charan.
question is like what exactly a DevOps engineer will be doing? What is the roles and responsibilities of a DevOps
You will
engineer?
understand once
Right
you get into
now,
practicals, Charan. Okay.
Right now, I'm into a DBA. Okay, so I don't have any. Coding skills or anything.
Okay, because I know you. I hope you know, Charan. All the DBA platforms are becoming autonomous, isn't it? Okay.
Yep.
So it's our time. It's high time to get into the cloud industry. Okay, so especially
Okay.
DBAs, Linux administrators, system administrators, SAN storage. So it's good time to upgrade our skills to DevOps. Charan, you are in the right track. Okay, so are you learning AWS also, Charan?
No, I'm into I do have knowledge on Azure, not into AWS.
Okay, so this is DevOps tools. What I will be training is on AWS. You can implement it on Azure also. That's not a problem. Once you acquire this, you can migrate to the cloud platform like DevOps AWS developer or DevOps AWS or Azure AWS. It's up to you.
Okay.
Thank you, Charan.
Thank you. But
you're talking something, Charan.
So development team, they will do their work, and once operation team is done, we will be
yes
implementing.
Your plan is to migrate from operations team to DevOps team. That should be your plan.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Couple of more interactions before ending today's session. Akif Mohammed.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Akif. How are you?
Yes, I'm good, sir.
Yes, your question.
So, my question is, since I have done my bachelor's in completely different field, it's instrumentation engineering. And I've been working as an instrumentation engineer for last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So now, since
you want to switch to IT industry.
Yes. So
right now you're in non-IT platform. Am I right, Akif?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now you want to get into IT industry.
Yes. Let's say if I mention in my resume experience about 2 or 3 years, so how much they will expect from me to know about DevOps and AWS?
You know AWS?
I had attended some basic sessions.
Okay.
Not from you.
Acquire the skills. Acquire the right skills. Akif, that's the first activity you have to do. Once you acquire the skills, once you complete the projects, you'll be ready to get the interviews. And there are a lot of success stories. Even just one at afternoon 3 o'clock, I got a success story from a previous batches. We're getting a lot of success stories from every batch. This the success track is defined. You just need to follow the success track. Learn DevOps, learn AWS, complete the projects, be perfect in whatever we are learning. Learn Terraform, which is added now. You will be job ready. Akif? Clear?
So should I learn AWS along with DevOps?
You can do parallelly. Yeah.
Parallelly?
If you have time, I recommend you to do parallelly. We're also starting AWS in soon after 10-15 days. Okay, you get updates also. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Akif.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
One more final call. Srihita. Your question, please.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Srihita.
Sir, actually, I took recordings of your AWS session, and it is going good.
Okay.
And I want to join DevOps as well.
Okay.
But AWS, I have some prior knowledge on AWS.
Which
and
knowledge?
AWS and Azure, I have some prior knowledge.
Okay. Okay.
It's like I'm doing good, but coming to DevOps, I have zero knowledge. Like the tools now you said, I don't know. Like
No, this is from the scratch, Srihita. Not only you, many are zero in DevOps. Okay. This is completely new. Okay. There's no prerequisite. So while we'll be starting from the scratch, even though you're completely zero in DevOps, we'll understand each and every tool, understand where exactly these tools can be implemented in the DevOps methodology. Okay. So you will be comfortable learning DevOps. That's not a problem.
Okay. Actually, I have 3 years of experience as an Exchange and Office 365 administrator.
Okay. Okay. Good.
So I don't. So I want to change my role now.
This is the right track, Srihita. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
you cannot go back to development field as of now, isn't it? So you cannot go into programming side. The
Yes,
best
sir.
option right now you have is cloud platform, okay, and DevOps and AWS. You're in the right track. Acquire the DevOps skill sets also, which helps in migrating your technology.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
The only prerequisite DevOps for DevOps is Linux. That anyways I'll be learning in the couple of sessions, next three sessions. Okay.
Oh.
So we'll be learning DevOps from the scratch.
Okay, so like after this training, after 2 months, so can I apply for
DevOps engineer? You're right.
Okay.
That's the right role.
Okay, so thank you.
Thank you all. I hope you have enjoyed the session. See you tomorrow. The meeting link will be remaining the same. The meeting link, like how you have joined today, the meeting link will be the same. Please, tomorrow, what's our plan for tomorrow? Our plan for tomorrow is to get into the practicals. This is DevOps on AWS. The prerequisite for DevOps is Linux. So we'll be starting Linux for tomorrow. Thank you all. I hope you have enjoyed the session. Stay tuned for tomorrow's session. Thank you. Bye, everybody.